Want to talk about an offer? To the mail. Oh, I'm sorry.
Basically, for me, it's only been through the mail. I've gotten mail asking if I'm interested in selling, please contact this person. It's been also handwritten notes. One of them was handwritten. So they make it personal to where, hey, I think I can trust this guy, or when I can call them. But each time, I mean, it's something.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Right.
Right. That's what I'm hearing. He's asking, they want to set up a meeting to make an offer and that kind of thing. And I've gone to do house blessings with the larger lots, and what I have found is that they'll get these little pink cards, completely anonymous, with a phone call and asking the residents to call them directly. Pastor. Oh, okay, so she was saying that 4 of her properties in her area, when she had been visiting people to invite them to this meeting, 4 had already been sold. So that's very, very quick what's happening right now. So let's go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Christopher Andrews, and there's the mic for you. But thank you so much. Let's give him a hand.
Wait for the bottom. Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Chris Andrews. I work with the City of Houston's Planning Department, and I want to be able to explain to everybody ways that you can preserve your neighborhood. So, the goal for tonight, I want everybody to walk out of here getting a better understanding of what preserving your neighborhood might look like, and how to use the tools that the City of Houston has to do that. So tonight, we'll talk about just a couple things. We'll talk about the minimum lot size and the minimum building line block, and then there's another one called the minimum lot size area. But I think it's kind of like I've instructed, we're going to focus on the special minimum lot size block, and we'll have some illustrations to show you what that looks like. Now, these are provisions or ordinances in what's called Chapter 42. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, what is Chapter 42? The City of Houston has a number of codes or ordinances, and they all have different chapters. There's Chapter 10, there's Chapter 38, there's chapters that regulate a lot of different things. And within the city, Chapter 42 regulates how subdivisions are made, sometimes how streets are dedicated, how close you can build to the front of your property line or the side property line, and what apartments or other developments, how they're designed. So all of those rules are within Chapter 42. So you don't apply for Chapter 42, you apply for the minimum lot size ordinance. And I will stick around to answer any questions that anybody has. And I want to preface too, my colleague Abraham Zarilla is in the back. He can interpret for anybody that needs Spanish interpretation as well. So we're happy to help you. And our contact information will be at the end. So please give us a call. To continue. So I want to show everybody what a special minimum lot size block is. What does that mean? So within the City of Houston, in Chapter 42, there is a minimum that you can have. And it's what a lot of people see as a townhouse. It's 1,400 square feet. Now this room, I don't know if you know the square footage. Well, okay. So you could fit a lot of 1,400 square foot lots in there. So 1,400 is not very big, but that is the smallest piece of property that you can make. That is the minimum in the city. So what a lot of folks want to do is establish a larger minimum, and that's the special minimum lot size. So this allows for the preservation of your lot size character. If a lot of the lots in your block are 5,000 square feet, then this would help preserve those to stay at 5,000 square feet. That's just a number I'm throwing out. I don't know if anybody knows the lot dimensions here in Denver Harbor, but they're probably close to 5,000 square square feet. 25 by 100 is, okay, 50 feet wide, 50, okay. So this is an example from Brooke Smith Huts. And you can see here, this is what we call, this is a special minimum lot size block. It is on the street, it could be one side or both sides of the street, and it's between two other intersecting streets. So this is just an example. But you can tell here that all these lots are uniform, so when we establish the minimum lot size, it will likely be, or for this block, it will be, that no new lots can be created smaller than what exists. So this is a photographic example of the first ward. This is on Summer Street, and this is real life. You can see here this lot on the corner. There's nothing there, and you'll see this bungalow. What it looks like. I think this is 2007. Still nothing there. If you fast forward to 2013, that property owner sold their lot and it was subdivided into three townhouses. So you see there's 3 on this lot and then there's 3 more on the other lot. So there's 6 of them there. You can see this bungalow has been fixed up a bit. Now, the city of Houston, we don't have a policy to say this is bad. So we won't come out and tell you, we think your block needs this. So that's why it's up to the residents to apply for this. But this is an example of what could happen. And in some parts of the city, this is great. This might be a good thing. But for others, it may not be. So that's the special minimum lot size block. And I think that's what a lot of folks are going to be interested in here tonight. There's another application called the special minimum building line block, and this is one that would preserve the character of how close things are to your front property line, how close they are really to the street. And again, you can apply for your side of the block or both sides. And this is part of the application. So you would kind of show us how far your homes are from the street. You tell us whether lots are vacant, whether they're used for single family, and you give us an address and this kind of description. Well, we can help you with all of that. Now, one thing I do want folks to understand is that there are some rules that may already be in place for your neighborhood that kind of govern or determine what your streets look like. We call them subdivision plats. And I know in Denver Harbor, there's what's called the Denver Edition. If you look at your tax records, it'll tell you what a subdivision is. So I think this is on I was going to say Zoe, but figured I'd be run out of time if stuff like that. So this is Zoe Street. I took this off Google Earth. And you can see that yellow line kind of shows where everyone's house starts at. And you may ask, well, why is everyone's house so far back? This is likely due to the subdivision plat. So there's rules already in place that might be helping your neighborhood. That when you drive down the street and say, I really like how everything is set back a little bit. This is a product of why. You can see this is the original plat for Zoe Street here, and these red lines show how close your home can be to the front of your property. So that's something that's working for you guys right now. So you may not need to apply for the special minimum building line, but you probably would want the lot size. This is an example of the Cherryhurst neighborhood, which is just north of Westheimer. You can see how they've used those blocks where people have come in and applied separately for each one of these minimum lot size blocks. But when many people apply together, they can kind of cover an entire area. So that's, I heard someone say before about block captains. This is what you want to find is someone who lives on each block to be able to help you with these, be an applicant for the applications. Again, this is an example in the Heights. You can see these folks applied for the building line block as well as the lot size. So you can do both at the same time. And there's some rules about if you qualify for one of these ordinances. I don't know that I need to go through all these right now, but they're primarily for areas that have a lot of single-family residential. So if you want to come up later and look at this map on the table, everything that's in yellow is single-family residential. So if your block is primarily single-family, then you probably can apply for this. And again, just some terminology. We talk about block face, and that's really just the part of the lots that front a street. So when you apply for a minimum lot size application, you can do one block face or two opposing block faces, one across from each other. So you could include the neighbors, kind of to the left and right of you, across the street. Yeah.
I asked you earlier about alleys.
Yes.
Yeah, I was asking him earlier about, Denver-Harbor got alleys, and I was asking if a developer comes out here, can he buy into the alley? Because, that's right away, right?
You're correct, yes. Alleys are what's called a public right of way, and that's property that's not owned by a private entity, so it be owned by the city. There's a process that you shouldn't be able to just build into an alley or just buy it up without a public process happening. So there's something called the Joint Referral Committee. We can explain that later, but generally, no, somebody should not be able to just build in an alley without some sort of process. If there's an example, you can contact our department or Councilmember Gonzalez's office, and they can certainly investigate further. So there's some rules governing the minimum lot size, and I want to wrap up here quickly. When you go out and get signatures for people, you're going to be required to show that people on your block want this ordinance. So when you go out and apply and fill things out, you're going to ask your neighbors. There'll be one applicant on the block, just one. And you'll go out and ask your neighbors for signatures. And you, as an applicant, you probably want at least 51% of the block, so more than half, to sign in support of it. That would be a good goal. So if you have a block where 10 people live on each side of the street, you want probably one more than 10. The most you can get is the best, but just over 50% is the best. It gives you, it governs how the application is processed once it's turned in. So sometimes they can be approved by our director, sometimes they'll go to the planning commission, or if somebody disagrees with the application, they may decide to protest, and I can explain those, what that means for each one of those applications. Again, this is kind of about the support. So if there are folks who have government-owned lots on their block, there's special considerations for that. If there are considerations for language barriers, we can address those as well. So finally, here's kind of the process. Somebody on your block would produce an application, they would submit it. We have a 30-day protest period. So if somebody says, you know what, I want to sell, I don't want somebody telling me what to do, we give them 30 days to send in a protest. And they would tell us, planning department, we want to protest. So if they do protest, then it goes to the planning commission. Even if they're the only person that decides to protest, it goes to the planning commission. And then if no one protests on your block, that's the easiest route, and it's approved by our director. And then finally, before it becomes an ordinance, it must be approved by city council. That's the last step. Minimum lot size area, I'm not going to spend much time on this. This is a larger a way of capturing more lots. There is a much longer process for this, and you might decide with your neighbors that this is something you want to do, but there is the last slide. There's a process where you need to have a public meeting, and then we send out response forms. And folks say yes or no to things, so it creates a lot longer the strongest thing for you to protect your neighborhood is deed restrictions. Unfortunately, I know that this is an area that doesn't have deed restrictions. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't have deed restrictions, these are ordinances that you'll want to apply. And just to close here, some of the other things. You want to be at least 60% single family. So if you're looking at trying to do this for areas that are along maybe a thoroughfare that has a lot of stores or restaurants or apartments, you may not be able to apply for it. And then the response form process for the minimum lot size areas is a lot longer. So if you want to know what might benefit you, give us a call and we can help you out with that. We'll put this map up later if folks want to look at the map. This is kind of the Denver Harbor area here. And this is our contact information. So you can write down, this is our main department number. And then this is my phone number, email. And then for any Spanish assistance, Abraham, my colleague, he can be reached at his phone number and email as well. And we are more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. Give us a call, and we will do our best to provide any answer we can. Sure, we can do a couple.
Yeah, we're going to open up for questions, and we can't spend too much time on it, but there will also be time later on for follow-up meetings to go into even deeper detail. But I think it's